so excited to start with today's episode because I believe it's a very important topic in today's society. And especially with this society, this world, where we usually value a lot this hectic life and we consider a person to be successful when they are basically so busy they cannot attend to anyone else other than paying 24/7 attention to their work. And this is basically living in a society that operates mostly with social pressure. Like, social pressure is so glorified. Sometimes I think, where is the society? Because as a star seed, we are souls coming from harmony and peace and beautiful words where people just work with their passions. They work with things that energize them, that gives them energy and brings them joy and happiness. So this is a topic that many people, not only starseeds, I'm considering many people nowadays that we are awakening, are coming to find this is so weird. Like, why are we glorifying this? Why are we glorifying the fact to be constantly busy, overachieving something, overworking? And to bring a clear answer to this question, I think we can go back, for example, to my childhood. And coming from a family from Eastern Europe, achievements were very important. In fact, I remember spending most time of my childhood and early teens until high school. I remember just paying attention to grades, studying. I didn't have much time to spend with friends or anyone. We did have communities, like with my mother's part. She's Russian, so we usually had this community with, they connected us with friends, and it was very beautiful memories. But these beautiful memories were also including the fact that I was paying so much attention to achievements and to grades and studies and exams and all that. But then when I had my spiritual awakening, I think it was in the year 2015, and I started to introspect into my life and myself. I started to see things with more details, to analyze everything and question myself, how things were going in the world. I started to notice that as I wasn't doing so good in school anymore, this approval and love I had from my parents was usually diminishing. And then I asked myself why this was happening. So my idea was, why? I thought love was supposed to be unconditional. Like, we all make mistakes. We all fucked up every time. Like, I can't even begin to count the amount of mistakes I did in my life. It's crazy. And the crazy stories I had. So, coming from a family that was supposed to be the perfect family, I was a high grade student. I was usually the student that had top grades in class. And I was used to it. I was used to be highly functioning and constantly overworking myself. I didn't feel exhaustion until it hit me when I had this awakening. I was around 15, 16, more or less. So I remember just starting to question myself question everything basically, and it was a mess. And then I realized this was a mess as well. Like, we usually have this thought, this belief that some things are just there, they are just normal because people have been doing them for generations. So we just take them for granted, you know? But oh my god, when you start to actually question them and they start crumbling. So back to the story, I started asking myself, why am I not receiving the validation? Why am I not receiving the love and care I was supposed to receive? Because my grades were falling and were not as they were expecting me to be. And if you take a moment to think about this is usually said in early generations, like this is not something that is new. I'm sure many of us have the same situation. So then I got interested in psychology. I usually was interested, first I was interested in dinosaurs, like the animals that lived before, and then I got into animals, biology, and then I got into psychology, which is the human mind. It really amazed me. The thoughts, the emotions, all the mental processes we have. It's really interesting to me. So, in my search of getting to know myself, I got into psychology and neurology and philosophy, all these beautiful areas. And it was quite interesting to observe that indeed we as a society have lots of trauma, unpacked trauma. And I'm sure you heard this expression already, but many people are just children in adults' bodies. We have lots of things we haven't healed, and we go from them from generation to generation and from lifetime to lifetime. So, this is one of the reasons we have this society which values a lot being an overworker and completely sabotaging yourself, ignoring your needs, being constantly in this hustle mode, in this masculine energy of work, work, action, action, achieve, achieve anything, just get the best. For what? For approval. Is it love at the end what we really want? Is it to be accepted in society? Is it to be approved as a group? We are social animals. We crave connection. And it was very sad. It was very sad for me to realize this. Spiritual awakening can be a hard thing, and when you actually start to get into your own trauma, and start to do the inner work, it gets really messy. So then I started observing people more closely, and I noticed that if you just isolate a person, they are usually not very comfortable being on their own. Like, they are scared to be with their own thoughts. So we usually try to just be in groups and distract ourselves with anything. It can be TV series, movies, books, any other activities, even work. Work is the thing. We usually distract ourselves from our work, the emotional work and the healing we have to do, and we turn to work we go numb and just that, and ignore what is happening emotionally and internally. But I truly believe that this has consequences, and if you tend to ignore your emotions for such a long time, even since childhood, they always get a way to bring yourself back to the surface, so you pay attention to them because they can be ignored. You cannot ignore yourself. Even if you didn't have caretakers, parents, relatives, anyone who took care of you, even if they didn't care. It's now time for you to actually start caring about yourself. And I realized this too because I knew this conditional love based on grades and high marks, it wasn't my thing. It just wasn't what I knew it was true. I always knew that love is unconditional. You can expect to love a person and then set conditions to them. Like I will only love you if you are this tall or this height, or if you have this color of your skin, of you if you have this set of achievements and qualifications. Even with jobs, I consider this a bit weird and stupid. We're judging people based on their qualifications. And I think we can start to actually get people into their qualifications, into their jobs and careers for their passions, instead of just presenting a random paper. But anyway, this is another topic for another day. So, back to this. From my years of research and reparenting myself and actually learning again, because we've been taught so many wrong things, it's time to learn again. It's time to actually listen to our intuition. I actually knew that we have to listen more, to go inwards instead of outwards. Society values a lot work, just in this over consumerism and over productive, but we just learn to basically ignore our feminine side. We learned through all these years to always be stressed, anxious, depressed, always constantly doing something and never resting. And even when we're resting, we have this guilt that tells us that we are not being productive. I have this as well some days. When we are just having our day, taking a rest from work or from studies, we have this inner voice, inner critic that tells us that we are not enough because we are not working. So, in this age of Aquarius, with times are changing, I really consider we should start to pay more attention to jobs that are actually calling for us, careers that we find passion and happiness to do, and things we just find happy to help people. Because I really think that you get happy when you're helping others. I really get genuinely so happy when I see a person smiling. And I think the future of humanity is more in this peaceful humanitarian nature, not as so the selfish character we are so used to see in not only in society but what is preached through books, television, education, and many other areas. So we should also learn to focus more on our life purpose, our dharma, to get what genuinely fires us, what brings this fire, inner fire, to ourselves, and to just something that excites us, to makes us happy, something. Because most people, I know most people like myself, I used to just are used to wake up depressed, sad, with no energy at all, because they know that what they are expected to do, they know what is waiting for them, like work or study or whatever. They don't get excited for it. They know it is boring. They don't find joy in it. So why they should wake up energetically. It's not use. They know they got no use in waking up happy. However, if you have something that brings a smile to yourself, people, or a special activity, anything, you know you have a day you can enjoy. You know you have things to enjoy and to be grateful. And even if you still are working on a 9 to 5 job, which you are not enjoying at all, you can start by bringing this inner light from yourself and to start attracting things and people that you will genuinely enjoy. Because you cannot spend life doing things you don't really like just because of pressure of what your family, friends, partner, or other people may believe. You need to start listening to yourself. If you always listen to others as you grew up, it's time to start listening to your intuition. It knows best. It's you. This society glorifies so much the masculine mode because we are disconnected from the feminine. We have to learn to get back in tune with our emotions. We have to learn to reconnect with ourselves. And one of the things I really think we can apply, it's something from my childhood. Like when I mentioned I used to have this community with Russian people and we used to meet each other and to just we had classes and we also had theater and we played games and sang songs and danced and just celebrated our birthdays together. This is really beautiful. I think we have to reconnect with ourselves and people around us, and we can do these communities to reconnect with people because usually we are now so alienated, we are so isolated from the rest. We don't know what we are. We lost our essence. We really lost our essence. So, to find more joy in our jobs, it's crucial to learn how to reconnect with ourselves. And this is something I teach in my program, Becoming Phoenix, which is for people like myself who learned toxic cycles, who learned dysfunctional things from toxic environments and families, and just people who wish to start with their healing journeys and to heal, develop, and expand into their greatest versions. I'm now currently developing a special program for you to enjoy. I also have a beautiful private Facebook group with the name. And if you're watching this and listening to this podcast, I invite you to click the link to get access to my private group. I share tips on mental health. You can get freebies and we can have a beautiful safe space for you to express yourself and make new friends. Because I really believe that, especially after a pandemic, this whole chaotic situation, we really need to reconnect with each other. Also, part of my offerings include Reiki sessions, and if you join the group, you can have these Reiki sessions for free as part of one of the members of the group every Friday, which I believe it's a really special thing because I really think that everyone deserves to be part and to take part of this healing process. You are a pioneer if you decide to step out of the toxic cycle that has been going from generations. And if you decide to break it, I am sending you a Thai hug for you. because you're really strong. You know it. You're really strong. You're going for things that resonate with you, and you don't want to give more energy to things that don't belong to you. And you know you deserve to be loved unconditionally, no matter what. So, we're finishing this episode. I really hope you enjoyed it. And don't forget to like it, subscribe, and just support my channel in YouTube. It really helps me a lot to grow and to spread the message of unconditional love everywhere. And I tell you, you can start doing so as well. Because the more you love yourself, the more situations where abundance and unconditional love prevails, they are coming to you. You're like a magnet. You're a beautiful piece of God. So I tell you something, let's start healing together. Let's bring more magic to the world. Let's get this world more alive. Let's get this feminine energy alive again. Let's breathe. Sending you a big tight hug to everyone who's listening to this. Hope I see you in the next episode. Bye.